Welcome to the name game. Workout number 61 is Another One. 5 rounds per time with an 18-minute cap. We have a 50-foot barbell overhead lunge, 15 toes to bar, and 12 handstand push-ups to a deficit. So that barbell overhead lunge is 95 pounds for males, 65 pounds for females. It's going to be divided into two 25-foot sections. So you're going to tape at the 0, one side mark. You're going to tape the 25 mark on the other side. You have to start with your toes behind that line, and then you have to step and lunge past that line with the heel. Your heel cannot touch the line, or you have to do another tire lunge. The toes to bar are just being done to the open standard, and then the handstand push-ups for the 4-inch deficit for males, 2-inch deficit for females. That deficit is above wherever your head is touching. So if you put an ab mat down as your cushion, it needs to be 4 inches above that or 2 inches above that for males and females. So besides that, for the handstand push-up, you can use whatever kind of risers you want, bumper plates or whatever, but then you're gonna tape off a 40 by 24 inch box, and no part of your hands and or your fingers can touch that tape line. So it's like the quarterfinals standard for people who do that on the individual side. So let's loop in Coach Chris here and we'll talk about strategy.
So first impressions is that it's going to be, it's heavily shoulder based, right? So you start with the overhead walking lunge where you're holding the barbell over your head. You go into a toes to bar, which is still, if you're doing toes to bar correctly, is still like a shoulder centric movement. It's more of a lat press down through the bar than it is like a press up, but you're still having to use the muscles around that shoulder capsule. So it's not like you get a break there, but then going into the handstand push-ups, especially at that deficit, that's kind of where I see the log jam occurring, is as you cycle back around from that handstand push-up into that overhead walking lunge, going from an overhead pressing movement into an isometric hold over your head. The barbell's light, but obviously like across 5 rounds, I think you'll really start to feel that.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, even the toes to bar is obviously not a pressing movement, like you said, but like even just having your arms above your head for that long, like you're not getting a lot of blood back in. It's not like you're doing like, air squats or something where you can give your arms a complete break. So you're definitely going to be gripping in the overhead lunge. You're definitely gripping in the toes to bar. And then obviously the pressing of the handstand push-up and the overhead lunge is just going to be super important. So another thing that I see is like cycle speed, like in other words, like just trying to minimize your time under tension for especially handstand push-up and overhead lunge, because you could speed those up and slow those movements down a little bit more, where toes to bar just sort of are what they are. If you can speed them up a little bit and then take a break, you're probably better off versus like trying to hold on and have like slower, consistent, kind of like methodical reps, rather than doing that. Like try to like bust out like a really quick set of 3 on handstand push-ups and then get off the wall.
Like if you think about the open workout, I think from 2018, it was a 20-minute workout with overhead walking lunges at 95, 65, chest to bars and bar facing burpees.
Yeah, 16-1.
Yep. So that was a workout that, being a little bit more methodical through those lunges made sense, right? Because the rep scheme for every movement in that workout was short. You had a 25-foot lunge, 8 burpees, 25-foot lunge, 8 chest bars. Plus you kind of got the combination of, the overhead lunge with a pulling movement.
Right.
So you're able to move more methodically. So I agree here, especially in the overhead lunges, being that the weight is light, to avoid that time under tension moving quickly. And being that we're going to do this in 2 25-foot increments. If it was 1 50-foot increment, I would probably tell most of my athletes to fight to go unbroken. It's like, but with 2 25-foot increments, it probably makes more sense to hit 25 feet, drop the bar, turn your body around, pick the bar back up.
Yeah.
Because realistically in that position, to get that like turning effect,
yeah.
you're really not going to be moving faster, if at all.
Yeah.
Than if just dropping the bar and giving your arms like a half a second to a second break before picking it back up again.
Right. I think for a lot of people, just dropping it could be a good way to do it. Or if you're someone who's wanting to kind of save yourself some time there, you could probably bring it down to the back rack, spin around, and then press it out from there and continue again.
Yep.
Almost like a behind the neck jerk.
Yep.
What kind of a grip are you thinking, like, for your athletes? Do you think most of them are going to go in like a snatch jerk hybrid grip, or is it like jerk grip, snatch grip? Like, where are you thinking? How wide?
Yeah, I think most of my athletes would probably do some sort of a hybrid.
Yeah.
It's like definitely not a snatch grip. I don't really recommend a snatch grip for anybody unless you're like your thoracic mobility is like just
unless mobility is a huge
poor.
issue. I totally agree. Just at least bring it in like a hand width from your snatch grip. At least. And if you got really good shoulders,
the tighter you can be, the more stacked you're going to be. And the more you can kind of relax into that, like,
you can almost like open up your hand
blades.
and literally like relax your grip a lot more if you have that narrower grip. Like you can like hold like a jerk with like an open hand where you're like not even really holding the bar.
Yep.
If you can't do that with an overhead squat, because you're going to start sliding your hands out.
Yep.
So I agree.
So finding spots you can relax is going to be super important, because like we talked about, basically all this workout is through that shoulder girdle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see those as the main things. Anything last points to add?
No, can't wait to see what scores we get.
And lastly, we encourage as many people as possible to jump in with you and do these workouts. So you've got people who want to throw down with you, by all means, encourage them to do that. However, we want everyone to submit their scores, right? So where you're going to go to is orfitness.com. You'll hit on menu, drop down from the protocol. You'll hit that tab called Name Game. And then you'll go down to the first workout, which should be the newest one. And you're going to click that little green arrow. There you'll be able to enter your name, also with the workout name. That's important because it tags it so it doesn't get lost in the forum later on. But then you obviously are going to put your score or your time, and then you'll submit it. If you click on that little number next to it, you're going to see all the other comments, right? You might actually not be able to view them all. So if you hit view all comments, that's going to take you down sort of a leaderboard where you get to compare scores. And then also your coach gets to help determine where you stack up versus other competitors to be able to determine your individual weaknesses. This is going to be super helpful for us, pretty exciting and engaging for you guys. And if you're someone who's watching this, you're not a Zor Fitness athlete yet, I'll link to it below, but you can either check out the protocol or one-on-one coaching, and we'll reach out, see if you're a good fit. And for everyone, best of luck on the workout.